Well, about a month ago, Astroneer put out a roadmap talking about the future of Astroneer in 2024. This is One Last Midnight. And today we're going to take a look and dive deep into that roadmap announcement. Now, I realize this announcement came out about a month ago, and sorry about that, but you know, the holidays, and I haven't been able to get to it, but I am now. The announcement starts off with a beautiful picture of the future of Astroneer for 2024. Sometime this month in January, we're going to see an anniversary update that's going to provide something. I don't know. If you go off the image graphic, he's carrying some sort of circuitry. I don't know exactly what that is, if that's just a pure mock-up or if that is actually something that is going to be functional inside of the January anniversary update. Spring and summer will provide some sort of content update, and inside of the announcement, Joe says that spring and summer are going to be light content updates. So I'm probably going to get going back to some of the previous updates that they've had before, some limited item or some addition to the game that is not going to be overwhelming. Like I go back to summer of, I don't remember what year it was, but they just introduced a ball into the game. So I maybe of that type of line where they're introducing something little. But in spring, they do look like they're adding something that is or can be attached to a tree, and whether it produces a resource or activates an item, like things where it's like a sensor that activates something or is part of the automation, nobody has any idea what this thing does as of yet. And finally, in fall of winter of 2024, we're going to see some sort of expansion. This is a big green expansion thing that's sitting on there. And so nobody knows what expansion is. Well, I mean, what is an expansion to Astroneer or has been to Astroneer up to date? They've never used that word in that way before. We've always gotten updates or free content or whatever you want to call them that has added additional stuff into the game. To me, an expansion is greater than an update. And based off of their graphic here, since they say anniversary update, content update, and then expansion, I would have to make the assumption that expansion is something much, much more than what we are seeing or have seen previously. Joe goes on to talk about that over the last 5 years and since development 1.0, Astroneer and System Error have put out 20 free updates. And they've added things like creative mode, automation, the Wanderers, narrated focused updates like the Awakening, Rails, and exobiology. But they're saying that this year is different. And what's the biggest difference of this year and previous years? One of the biggest differences, System Era was purchased by another company, Devolver Digital. The very next thing about this roadmap post is that they have a picture of different HABs. You've got A, B, C, and D HAB, and then you've got these couple little Astroneer guys off to the side, which I think represent possibly new suits or new styles for your Astroneer. What's curious to me is this statement that's made just before this image. It says, "This year is different. We are in a post-awakening world, and everything is not what it seems. The world is changing." I'm having a hard time understanding if that's in reference to Astroneer or if that's in reference to System Errors being acquired by another company. And Joe is kind of subtly saying something, that our company has changed and that, everything is not going to be what it seems. And I mean, he says it's not going to be what it seems. Here's something that's kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe you might have missed it. Just prior to this notification coming out, this announcement of the roadmap, System Error released some DLCs for Astroneer. There was no announcement about it, but if you look you go into the game in your library and then you go into the content for the game, you'll see that you could always purchase the soundtrack separately. And so maybe that was their first DLC. But then they have quietly added in these bundles, and they're the same bundles that you can purchase inside of the store for Astroneer, but they've decided to externalize them and put them in as part of a DLC for Astroneer itself now, which I thought was kind of interesting when you look at that graphic that shows new HABs and new suits. Are we talking about possibly this is saying that skinning is going to come now as a cost? It's going to be a cosmetic which you have to purchase? I'm not too sure. But some of these costs for these aesthetics are a little bit exorbitant. I mean, $49 for an Essentials bundle. And while it does have several different suits and skins, it just seems like that's a lot of money for cosmetics. I've never really been that much of a supporter of the store to begin with, only because I thought that the price was not quite right. It was a little bit too high for some of the cosmetics that they were putting out there, but okay, it is what it is. If you do happen to buy one of these bundles and you happen to have any item that's already inside of one of these bundles, they wind up giving you a refund in qubits. So let's say you already own one of these suits or one of these palettes, you will get a refund in qubits back to use in some other new content or new cosmetics that they come up with. So it's not like it's a complete loss if you happen to already own some of this stuff. But again, post-buyout, Astroneer System Era has always been anti-DLC. Matter of fact, they have said many different times on their live streams, talking about future dev and stuff, that they will never put out a DLC. So I think this is a direct correlation to their purchase by Devolver, that, you know, their mindset has changed. You know, this is really going to be about monetizing this game. And I understand there was a large buyout. And so, you know, Devolver needs to make its money back some way. And the DLCs look like they're going to be a mechanism to do that. Now, whether the skins for the Habs or for other buildings are going to be part of the cosmetics now and you're going to have to pay for it, it's yet to be determined. I have no idea. It sure looks that way, though. As you continue on into this post about the roadmap, they talk about the expansion, that, you know, every update in the year of the glitch will contain new content, lore, buildings towards a mysterious expansion planned by the end of 2024. Now, the fact that they're saying it's building upon one another, that the content that's in previous updates are pointing to this direction, leads me to think that this might be a free update. But I don't know. The word of expansion in and of itself leads me to think that this is going to be a paid DLC. I don't know. It's too early to tell. I just get this feeling, though, that we're going to get... I mean, they've never used the word expansion before. And the fact that you're using the word expansion means it's more than an update. And if it's more than an update, then you're probably going to charge for it. That's my personal take on it. Again, he does say that the spring and summer updates are smaller updates, and they want to focus their time on the large end of the year update. They said they wanted to be transparent, to let players know what to expect, and it's going to be a big jump forward for Astroneer, this expansion. So I don't know. The final thing in this post for the roadmap is they're talking about refreshes. And during the content updates, or the updates, they're going to be running LTEs. But the LTEs are going to be changed. Well, I don't want to say changed. They're going to be refreshed. You know, they're talking about, you know, having different reward systems in some cases. They're talking about altering the events in some cases. And they're having more of a balance pass, which what balance? There's never been a balance in Astroneer to begin with. There's always an overwhelming amount of resources. And there's nothing you can really do with all the resources that you can possibly get in Astroneer. So I'm not too sure what a balance passes are, what they're talking about for these refreshes to the LTEs. But LTEs are coming out, and there's going to be a brand new LTE that starts in January. So Joe has been hinting that there's going to be a new LTE. If you'd watched this live stream back a month plus ago, you know, he was hinting that there's going to be a new LTE that comes out, and that's going to launch us in January with something completely new for the LTE type stuff, which is it's about time. It's been like 5 years since they introduced LTEs, and we really, I mean, the first year we got 3, and now was it 3 or 4? I think it was 3, right? And now we're going to get our 4th one. So I don't know, pretty cool. At any rate, this is going to be a huge year for Astroneer, and to see what Devolver with their guidance is going to do for this game, you know, clearly we're already seeing the introduction of DLCs, or at least they're using that mechanism inside of Steam to promote content within the game. Does that mean that we're going to see more DLC-like content outside of the store, hence expansion, is yet to be determined, and I don't really know. But again, this is a big year for Astroneer the game and Systemera as a company, being part of a parent company. And so this should be interesting. I look forward to seeing what Systemera and Astroneer as a video game comes out and does this year. And for the future, I mean, I hope this expansion really paves the way for some really innovative stuff coming to Astroneer. Don't know how long they're going to keep the title for. They do have a commitment as part of the buyout that Astroneer continues to keep making money for the next 4 years. Was it 4 or 3 years? I don't remember which one it was, but for a series of years after. So they need to continue to keep generating money off of this video game as part of their agreement to the buyout. So I don't know. I'm very excited though. Can you tell it in my voice? Excited? I hope you can, because I truly am excited. I've always loved this game. I've always been excited about what Astroneer could possibly be, and hopefully we're going to get some really good content coming out and growth of Astroneer coming out. I mean, if they're not going to make an Astroneer 2.0, we don't see some Astroneer 2.0 coming down the pipe in anytime soon, then hopefully, they continue to keep beefing up Astroneer 1.0 to make it just really damn cool. At any rate, that's it for me. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Would love to have you in the community. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below. And make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you know when I go live and when I post new videos. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.